So today's session will be the continuation of the previous sessions. So we learned a few things about how to create menus, how to create dynamic menus, and how to create this drop down and how to assign these menus to these drop downs. And also we saw some dependent drop downs. So what we'll do is today, I'll just try to remove all this and we'll create a real reports based on the raw data what we have. So I'll just remove all these things. So anyways, I've made a copy of it so that you will get the previous version also. This is a new version, which I just made a copy of it. Right. Now first we'll understand what is a reporting sheet, and then I'll tell you what is a calculation sheet, and then we'll start creating the reports. When I'm creating the report in Excel, so most of the reports will come by calculations or by macros. When I'm actually doing by calculation, so what we have to do is the report sheet should look very clean. Means I should see only the reports. I should not be seeing all the calculations. And some people, what they do, they'll do all the calculations here and they'll have the reports here. So when you're actually preparing a dashboard means you should have only reports to be shown, not the calculations, unless and until the client asks or the report says, yes, I need to see the calculation as well. So what we have to do in this case, so what we have to do is we should create one reporting sheet. For every reporting sheet, if there is any calculations, you have to create one supporting sheet for that, which we call it as calculation sheet, or you can also call it as supporting sheet. So what is the supporting sheet? Is nothing special in that, it's just creating one sheet. Let's say I'll just click on this new sheet, a new sheet is created. Now let's assume seeing this data, we'll create one simple data now, and then I'll show you more reports today. So here I have the state, brand, product, measure. Now what I need is, I want a report such a way that when I select a state, I need to get the reports for all these brands, 8 or 9 or whatever the brands are there. Now if you want to do that, one is I can create a pivot table and then I can create the reports, or I can create a macro, filter it, do the calculation and get the reports, or I can do some Excel calculation and do the reports. This pivot reports completely I'll keep it in the end because I want to show you so many things like power pivots and then slicers and then how to create dashboards out of it. So now what we'll actually do is we'll just see how to use Excel calculations and macros and create the reports. As I told you, today I'll show you the Excel calculation reports, and tomorrow I'll be showing you how to create the same reports by using macros. And the same thing, after completion of all this, macros and Excel reports, I will be teaching you how to use this pivot tables and create the dashboards. Right. Now the thing is, today I'll be showing you one report, that is how to create report by using the state. Say I will select one state, and for that I need the brand report. Once a brand report, I should also select this measure. I'll just filter and show you measure. There are two different measures, and for each measure, when I select, say for example, I will select the state and I'll get all these unique brands, let's say Apple. And then here, if I want to select the sales, then I should get the total of this, the complete total of this. So this is what I'll be creating a report. So this is the beginning of your report. So very basic, simple report, right? How to do this? As I told you, I'm taking one sheet here, and then I've taken a supporting sheet here. We have to name this. Always make sure that you'll name your sheet properly. Now let's say I'm creating a report for the brand. So what I'll do is I'll go here, I'll name it as WKS, or you can say report underscore brand. So this will be easy for me to understand, okay, the reports for brand is available in this sheet. Fine. Now this calculation sheet, what I'll do is the naming convention, just see what I'll do. I'll take the same name, but I'll say underscore and say calc. When I'm giving this underscore calc, it is very much clear that, okay, this is a report sheet for brand and this is a calculation sheet for brand. I'll show you why this is actually necessary. So I've created one sheet, that is WKS report underscore brand, and then a calculation sheet for it. Fine. Now I'll show you how to create this manually. So today, as I told you, no macros, no dynamics, it's just a static report. Fine. So first what I'll do is, I will have to create one drop down here. I just deleted it so that I'll show you from beginning. I'll just go here, developer, insert, and I'll take this drop down, and we saw this last session as well. So why I deleted this, I want to create this from beginning so that you guys will be aware of it, how we can do the reports from beginning. This is for state. I need to give a label for this, so I took this shape text and I'll mention it as state. So all this you have to plan in the beginning itself so that I'll not struggle in the end. So I will keep it here. Fine. Again, you don't have to go to developer and create one more drop down or something. You can just select this and hold control and select this. You can drag it, say shift control, and just drag it like this. Or you can say control C, control V, and you can arrange it. So start practicing these shortcut ways. Say I'll again show you. Select this, hold control, I'll select this. Then select one of the shapes, say control shift and drag it. That's all. Fine. Now I got two drop downs. That is, when I select a state and a measure, I should get the brand report. Fine. Let's go to this report sheet. Now this one, let's name it as measure. So now I have only two selections here. I just mention it as state and measure. Now I'll try to load the menu for this. If you guys remember in our previous session, we had created one dynamic range, that is RNG state. So from today onwards, I'll be giving you assignment where you have to work on this. Okay. So I'll be showing you one report today. And then what you have to do is you have to create similar kind of reports. Now when I say RNG state, this was a dynamic range. Now I'll use the same thing here. I'll say right click and say format control. Here I'll say RNG state. Now I need to give this cell link. The cell link, what I'll do is I'll go to this menu and I will select here the same thing what we learned in our last session. I'll say okay. Fine. So here I'm getting all the states. So based on this selection, I should get the reports here. Right. Let me go to this menu and just recall what we did the previous session. So I took this count and I created one range and also the range, so say the dynamic range. And let's say I'll go here. Whatever is selected here, that has to be available here. For that, what I have done, say equals index, and then I'll select the array. Now you don't have to select the array because we have already created one dynamic array. So that array itself you have to use, because next time when the excuse me, excuse me, next time if the data is getting inserted here or say it's getting updated here, I cannot go and change the range. Say some people actually go here, they'll select like this. It's just D11 to D17. Imagine if the data is getting added here, if the states are getting added here, again I have to go and change this. So instead, we have already created one range, that is RNG state. This is not only for the drop down, we can use here as well. Comma. Now it asks for row number. The row number, again, it is nothing but this cell link which I'm selecting. Comma, at last for column. Since I have only one column, I'll say 1. I'll say enter. So I'll get this New Delhi. Let's go back and check. See this New Delhi. Let me select this Andhra Pradesh. If you go here, I'll say Andhra Pradesh. So whatever I'm selecting here, I'll get that value. Good. Now I found this, the selected whatever I'm selecting here, and also we use this dynamic range, and then I created this cell. Right. Let's do the same thing for this measure as well. Quickly, I'll create one dynamic range for this so that we'll have one more revision. So what I've done, see here, I've given all the references here so that it will be easy for me to have the same, values in the range. Let's come to this. I'll take this count here because see, it says count. We'll go here. So how to use this count? Equals count A, and I'm selecting from here till bottom. Select this till bottom. No worries. Why? Because anything gets added, it should get added here. I have two items in this, that is units and sales. Next is the range, the dynamic range. How to create? We'll go to this formula. I'll say name manager. I'll say new, and now I'll say RNG measure. So we used this offset function. Let's go here. I'll say equals offset of, and we also discussed that there will be 5 parameters. The first parameter is the reference, that is we'll select the first cell of the range, comma, then the row index and the column index. Since we have selected the first cell, and I'll say row index is 0, column index is 0, and the next 2 parameters will be row height and column index. The row height is nothing but this one, and the column is 1. That is, I have only one column. Let me copy this, and I'll say okay, close. Now my dynamic range for this measure is also created. Now I'll go here, I'll update the same thing here. Have this practice so that it will be very easy for you to figure out where I've created the measure, and this one, sorry, what is this, the range, and what is the range name for this menu. Right, so the range name I've given here, and next, what have I selected? Let me go here. Here I have nothing. Let me load this. Right click, format control, and here it asks for input range. Let me select this, and I'll select this range. Again, this is not required. Why? Because you've created one dynamic range. So why I showed is the mistakes what people will do is they'll just select this. Now what will happen if it increases? So that is the reason you've created this range measure. Now what I'll do, I'll say RNG measure. See? Fine. The cell link. I'll go here. Go to this menu. See the cell link here. I'll just click here. Say okay. Done. See? If you think it's too big, then you can reduce it, no problem. Just reduce it. Fine. See? Unit and sales. Some people, what they do is they'll use this option button. I'm not telling this is wrong. You can also use option button here saying, say sales and units. This also can be used, but I'll tell you why I have not used this. This option button should be used when you feel that the reports selections are fixed. Let's say male and female, that is fixed. So you cannot add one more item for that. Or let's say yes or no, then it is fixed. The true or false, it is fixed. Or any other selections, if you feel that they are fixed. Now suppose if you think that sales units are fixed, no more measures are coming, then you can use this option button. Otherwise, please use this units and sales, sorry, this drop down, so that it will be like units and sales, one more measure gets added, one more measure gets added, it will be keep getting updated. So assuming that these measures can change, so because these measures can change, say units, sales, next time I'll say profit, then percentage growth, measures can be keep getting added. So in that case, I'll use this drop down. But if you think that the measures or say any columns, it is fixed, then you can go for option button. Otherwise, please use drop down so that you don't have to go and change the design again. If I would have used this option button, what will happen? Now when I say sales and units, everything is fine, the reports are ready. What if tomorrow I'll get profit also to be added here? Again, I have to go and redesign it. But in this case, it's not like that. Since we have made it dynamic, say I'll just go here, I'll say profit. I don't have to bother now. I'll go here, see, automatically the profit also will come. So you should design your dashboard such a way that you will not put more efforts on changing the designs or say changing the reports like this. Okay, fine. Let me just remove this profit here, and then we'll remove these two option buttons. I will show you how to create by using option buttons as well in the coming reports. First, we'll see how we can create one simple report here. See, I got these units and sales. Fine. Now my state is ready and measure selections are ready. Now we have to use this reports here. Let's assume that I'll have one table and one chart here. Fine. Now what we'll do, we'll go to this calculation sheet. Here what I'll do is, see here, all the calculations I'm doing it here. I'm not going to do anything here. Let's say here I'll take the state and measure what you have selected. So instead of going to this menu again and again, so I'll take my calculation sheet and I'll take the values of state and measure here. So just you'll have to refer say equals, and I'll take the state what I've selected here, this one. Again, I'm telling this is actually for our easiness only. That is, instead of going to this menu sheet always, I'm just taking the value selected here only, say equals, and I'll say measure. So I'm not taking that measure. Anyways, I'll take that measure here, say enter. Let's go back. Quickly we'll do that. The index RNG measure, comma. So the cell link, whatever is there, see, I'll get the units here. So I'll explain why I've taken this, so that instead of going to this menu sheet again and select these selections, I'm doing it here only so that I'll know what are the selections done, what state selected, what is the measure selected. Now suppose if I go here, I'll say I've selected sales, and here I'll say Karnataka. If you go here, see, I'll get the same thing here. How is this coming? Because I'm referring these two cells here. Fine. The selections are ready. Now I want the report to be created here. How to do that? So what I'll do, let's go to this menu. I'll copy this, the brand. As I told you, now I'm doing manually, so nothing dynamic. I'll go here and I'll take those brands and I'll paste it here. I pasted all the brands here. Now let me go to this data. I have some years. Let me remove these 2 years. It's not required. Select this and I'll put it here. So the reports what I need is for all the brands and for the years. So how will I get the data here now? This is the state which I've selected, measure which I've selected. For each brand of the state and the measure, I should get the result here. So for that, what I'll do is I'll use this SUMIFs function to add the values. Select this. I've selected Andhra Pradesh. I've selected units. Now I need to get the report for this Apple. So I'll get something like this. Then I have to add all this. That is, I have to sum up all this. So for this, one is I can use sum, but sum will not work because sum will take the entire range. So for this, what should I do? I should use this conditional statement, that is SUMIF, because I'm trying to do the sum based on the condition. What are the conditions? One criteria is the state, other criteria is measure, and then for each brand. So 3 criteria I'm actually taking. So when I'm taking multiple criteria, then I have to use this SUMIFs. So how to use this SUMIFs? I'll say equals SUMIFs. First parameter, sum range. I'll go to this data and I'll select this, the sum range. I'll say F4 and say F4. Now I'm not fixing the column. The reason is when I'm copying this towards my right hand side, the column should change. But when I'm copying this bottom, the row number should not change. That means 2015, when I'm changing to the next cell, it should become 2016. That is, I should become J. But when I'm copying this down, because I have more other brands, when I'm copying this down, this 11 and 1130 should not change, because if I change, then the range also will keep changing here. So I have to fix this, comma. First one is the criteria one. We discussed that we need 3 different say criteria. One is state, brand, and measure. First we'll take this state. So what I'll do, from here till bottom, I'll say F4. Now fix it, because this should not change. Next one is, what is the criteria for this range? I've selected this criteria range. The criteria is here. That is the state what I've selected. I'll say F4. Go here, press F4 and fix this cell. Now for me, the state range and the state criteria is done. The next criteria is measure. Again, I'll go back to this data and then I'll select this measure, say F4, comma. Again, I'll come back here and I'll select this and say F4. Now this measure range and the measure is also done. That is the criteria, comma. Next is the brand, because this also has to be filtered. Let me go here to this data sheet, select the complete brand, say F4, comma. Now I'll select the brand here. While selecting this, be very careful, because here the brand should change when I'm copying this down, but the brand should not change when I'm copying towards my right hand side. The reason is this column has to be fixed so that 2015 to 2019 should get this brand value only, but when I'm changing this to the next row, the brand has to change. So how to do that? So in this case, I have to fix the column only. So while actually doing these formulas, in the beginning you might find it little confusing. So what you have to do is keep practicing it. 100% it will become very easy. Let me close this bracket and say enter. I got some result. I cannot assume that this is the right result. So what should I do then? I have to QC this first. Go here. Let's check whether this value is right or wrong. Always when you are creating reports, make sure that you will do some QCs like this in the beginning only, so that you'll not end up with wrong results and again come back and change all this. Let's go and check this. Say the state is Karnataka, measure is sales, Nokia is the brand, and I should get this much when I check this manually. Let me go here. I'll filter this. I'll select the state, then I'll select the measure, and let me select the brand. Now if I add this, the complete, I should get the same result. Say 6840497. Let's go and check whether it is right. 6840497. Yes, it is right. Now let me copy this down, and I'll copy this towards my right hand side as well. Let me just increase this. I got the result. But again, maybe I'm getting results proper for this, but whether it is coming for all these values, let's go and do some random check. Let's change this to, let's say, Goa, and this one to units. Now let's see. We'll check somewhere here. Randomly we'll take something. This 2018 for LG units Goa. Let's go and check. Say state is Goa, measure is units, and the brand is LG, and let's check for 2018. This is 2018. Yes. When I add up, I should get 421. Let's go and check whether it is coming properly. LG 2018 see 421. That means my formula is right. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll go back here. Sorry, here. Now the table is ready for me. Now how to bring this data to my report sheet here? Let me just say headings. If I copy this and paste, it will become like a values. But I want such a way that if anything gets changed here, it should get changed in the reporting sheet as well. Now you might be asking, I can easily take this. I could have done the formula here also. As I told you, don't use all this calculation in the front end, because if any changes has to be done, the whole design has to be changed. So let's not disturb anything here. Just the reference only will take it to the reporting sheet. Now what we'll do is we'll try to do some formatting here. As I told you, if I move any of these columns, the shapes also get moved or resized. See, let me just try to move this and see. Can you see this? So this should not happen. So for this, what I'll do, select this, say Control A and say Control 1. Now here we'll go to this properties and say do not move. First, you have to do this before doing any formatting. Let me take this one row, this first row, and I'll adjust this here, because when I'm creating a report, some people actually start from the first row itself. Don't do that. Let's have some gap here so that it looks good. Now let me start my report from here. Say equals, select this, say enter. I'm just trying to take the reference. Just select some cells, say Control D, say Control R. Let the zeros come, no problem. Now wherever it is zero, I'll just delete this I'll just delete this. Now what I've done, I've just taken this equals to this reference so that whatever values are getting here by the formulas, the calculations, that will come here. Now let's go and change here. See, this will get changed. Right. See, they are getting changed. But this is looking like a normal data. I need to format it. A simple format which we have discussed in our Excel session in the first session or second session, how to format it. So quickly we'll format it. So what all things I should do? First thing is I should make sure that the data is not getting cut. Let's increase this column. Let me increase this little more. Let me select this. Let's view the border. Again, I told you, try to utilize the habit of using this control 1. I'll go to this border. When you go to this border, make sure that you will select the proper color for your template. Let's go here. I'll select this color because this is what matches with my template. If whatever the templates you are creating, try to check the color code and then view the border. I'll just go here, select this solid line and put it like this. The borders are ready, but the data is, it is very much congested. So let's increase the space of row as well as the columns. Now all these columns should be of same column width because they all speak about the same data. So how to do that? Let me just select these columns like this and then try to use this. So if I just drag this, I'll get something like this. If you want still, you can increase this, no problem. Yes. Now the row, select this, go to this home, and here I have this format, say row height, and let's give 20. Let it go beyond, no problem. Now let's select this and make this one as Arial, and I'll change this to 10, and then here we'll say middle align. Now it's done. Now the heading should be always highlighted. I'll go here, I'll just highlight this, I'll make it bold and change the color to white and make it center line. So quickly we can do all these things. Let's select this. I need some space here and I'll say indentation, and here always try to give 1000 separators for this. I'll say control 1, go to this number, the number, 1000 separators. If you want decimals you can keep, otherwise you can remove it. It's left to you. I'll remove the decimals. Now if you want, you can make it center, or you can give an indentation and say right align. Done. Now the report is ready. Let me go here. Let's change this to units. See? Right. Let's change anything. Fine. This is a table what you have created, a very simple table. I just created some function here and then created this. I want a chart for this. Whenever I change a value here, the chart should get updated. So let me create one chart here itself. First, I'll tell you how to create a chart within the sheet, and then we'll see if at all I require a chart to be in a different sheet, how to do it. Fine. Now what I've done here, see, created this table. Now let me create one chart. So what we'll do, let me just remove this corner heading because I can select this and I can create a chart. Since here I have this numbers, so when I create a chart, this also will be considered as series. So I just remove this. Later on we can put the heading, select this, insert, and here I'll take a line chart because it's a trend what we have. So as of now we'll take one basic line chart like this. A chart is created like this. I'll just place it here. Right. Now I want this year to be shown here, but it should talk about the reports on this brand. Select and then say switch rows to column. That's it. See, I'll get the year and then the brand year. Let me just increase this. Fine. I got a chart. Let me remove this chart title. If you want, you can still increase this or decrease whatever you want. Let me change the font here. So always the formatting is very important, and I'll make it as 8. Yes. Now you just observe. I'll go here. I'll say units. See, my chart is also getting updated. How is that getting updated? Because here the data is getting updated and here the reports are also getting updated. This is how we can start creating the reports. Now, if you want to format this, let's say, let me just remove this grid lines. Let me select this and I'll say I want a border here. Let me go and give some border and say I'll give some shadow effect. So anything you just feel that it looks good. See, if you want to make it just the same height of your table, see, let me just keep it a little down here. Yes, see, now you just go and change anything. This is a basic report actually. Fine. Now what we saw is a basic report. I just created one calculation sheet here, and then I created one table, then I created a report here. So sometimes what will happen, this looks very congested. I want the table and the chart in a separate sheet, or say I'll have one button here. When I click on this chart, I should get chart. When I click on this table, I should get table. So if you want a report, something like that, I'll show you how to do that. So what I'll do, I'm just saving it and we'll go here. I'll just make one more copy of it so that we'll have both kind of report. This is within a sheet. Now what if I want the table and the chart in a different sheet? When I click on chart, this table should get converted into chart. If I click on table, then the chart should get converted into table. So how to do this? This is nothing like a magic or anything. Just it's very simple. I'll show you how to do this. Now I just made a copy of it so that we'll have this report what we have done in another sheet, in another file. Now what we'll do, let the calculation be same, the drop down be same, everything let it be same. Just make a copy of it. How to make a copy of it is hold control and then drag it. Forget about the navigation now. Navigation, I'll tell you how to navigate between these two things. That is by using the same button. Now here you can mention it as 2 or say chart or table, whatever. I'll just mention it as 2. Let me go back to this. Let's keep this as table. Let me delete this. Okay. Now let me remove this table. I'll go here. I'll put my chart here like this, just exactly to this table. Let's keep it here. And you can increase or decrease or whatever. Right. Now the reference for this is actually taking to the same sheet. So if you want, you can just go here, say right click, select data, and you can select it here. Again, we have to remove this. Or we'll do one thing, we'll just take it this sheet only. Any sheet is fine. Because this also is giving the same result. I'll go here, select data, and then I will select this itself and say top. See, I'm getting this result. Fine. Now what we'll do is we'll go back here. I'll create a button just next to this. Insert a button and click it. Just put it here or anywhere wherever you feel. And I'll say show chart. Let's format this as a button. Let's go here. Let's make it as blue color, bold, and here let's say Arial. Try to use Arial, it looks good actually. And here I'll say 8, middle align, center align. See, if you think the font size is too small, you can go here and make it as 10 and increase this. Right. Now when I click on this table should become a chart. I mean, yes, when I click on the show chart, this should become a chart. So what we'll do is just right click on this and say link and give the link to this sheet. See, when I click on this, it will take me to this sheet. Now let's put one button here such a way that This says show table. When I click on this, it should go back to this sheet. Right. So how to do that? Let's do it. Now what we'll do, we'll insert one shape. That is, we'll take this triangle. I want this shape to be exactly in the same position here. Now if I just copy this and paste, what will happen? It will be very difficult to paste in the same place. I have to go here, adjust this. See, if I go and navigate between these two, they are jumping. So we used something called as reference shape in the previous session. The same concept we'll use. Let me just say edit link, and here in the screen tip I'll say show chart. You know why we have to give this show chart? Because if I go here, it's showing all that links and all. Now it is showing just showing show chart. Let me put this shape just here, and then select this and this both together, Control C. Let me delete this. I'll go here, take this data to the first cell, this cursor to first cell, just remove this. Now I'll go here, I'll make it as show table. Right. Now change the link because you already given one link there. The same link will be copied. I'll say link for this sheet. Now right click, go to this screen tip and make it as show tip. Say okay, say okay. Fine. Now the link has been changed. Now when I click on this show table, it is going here. Click on the show chart. See, the button is not at all jumping. Right. Now this one, we'll change this to brand. All right. Now what we'll do, we'll just go and see how this will work. First, what we'll do, we'll hide this headings. So I'm just trying to show you how the exact dashboard looks in the reporting sheet. Now we'll also make it full screen here. Just make it full screen. See, now you have to hide this as well. Let's hide the headings. Now let's make it full screen. So this is how my report looks. Let me go to this. See, here I have this report one, which is about the brand. We can change this to brand. Now when I go here, see, just Goa, Maharashtra, or whatever. Now the client wants to see the units data. Now he wants to change this to chart. Just click on this. See, if you see this, it is changing to chart. You have not written any macros for this or anything. Just click on this. See, now I want to change this to table. Click on this. Now if you just observe this dashboard, it is looking exactly, in the same sheet. See, it looks as if I'm just changing the reports. That's all. That is, this table is in the same sheet. When I click on this chart, it is getting converted to table. When I click on this table, it is getting converted to chart. When I click on this table, it is getting converted to table. This is the dashboard designing. The techniques, how you'll actually think about. And what you have done here, this is the reporting techniques. When I go and click on it, these are reporting techniques. But what I have placed here, say when I click on this or this, it is actually changing the report. This is called as dashboarding technique, so that the user will actually feel very comfortable. So one way I showed you the table and the chart in the same place. And if the client didn't know, I want something different, so you can also show like this. See here, there is a table. I click on this chart, it will get converted to chart. Nowadays, if you see all your say what is this business intelligence tools, I've got so many options. You can just click on table, then that will get converted to table, or say click on chart, it will get converted to chart. But in Excel, we don't have such flexibility. But what if the client expects something like this? So then you'll have to use these kind of techniques. Right. Now I've created one report for you guys. Now the assignment for you guys will be, I want you guys to create one report that is on brand. How? I'll have a brand selection here, say state, and here when I click on this, I should get the brands here, and measures will be there. So based on the brand, say for example, I'll select one brand here. Now here I should have state. Each brand, what is the sales, or say how many number of units have been sold in each state. Here I'm showing you in each state how many say units or sales have been done for each brand here. The brand should go here selection, the state should come here. So that report I want you guys to do, and let me know tomorrow. Fine. This is one report which I showed you, so you have to do that report. Next report will be say the dependent drop down. That I'll tell you in tomorrow's session. But we'll also learn about something called as dynamic. I'll show you that, and then I'll stop the session so that you guys can work on the other reports. Guys, I'm telling you one more thing. Dashboard is all about you people have to work. I can show you 100 reports, but you have to practice it. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is I will be showing you all kind of reports in this, but I want you guys to work on this, because this is not like Excel or VBA. I'll just teach you some topics, just tell you some options, we'll just practice it. This dashboard is completely on how you learn, how you implement, how you execute. Otherwise, just by seeing this one dashboard, you cannot create other dashboards. So you should start developing the skills. So year afterwards, from today onwards, I'll be keep giving you a lot of assignments. And once you guys are comfortable, I have so many datas like this, so many projects like this. I'll be sharing it with you, and you have to start working on it. All right. Now let me save this, and I'll show you one more option of making the chart dynamic. So for this, we'll take the other file itself so that we can see the table as well as the chart. So I'll go here. I have one which I made it as copy. I'll just name it as 3.1. Okay. So I'll open this. So these two files will be shared with you after this session. Content. Right. Now let me go here. If you can see this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I change some options here, there are 8 brands, and you can see there are so many lines here, which is very difficult to analyze the data. Now you might be thinking, so what can I do? Suppose I want to do the analysis only on this Nokia or say Apple, or if I had some selections here, it would have been more easy. But if you see in our business intelligence tools, we have this option. So I can go here and I can select, or here also we have this filter, and I can say Nokia or say Motorola, say apply. Say I can only see this. But what if I can give one option? Let me just select all, apply. What if I'll give an option here with a checkbox itself here in this chart itself? So how to do that? How to give a checkbox here? Is it possible? There is no inbuilt option like this, but still we can do that. So this is another control of checkboxes. So I'll be showing you all the controls here, how to use it with the examples here, so that you can understand the controls here as well as how to implement that. Now our requirement is I need a checkbox here for selecting what brands I should select and what report I should get here. Fine. How to do that? So what we'll do is here I have this 8 brands. Let me remove this legend. Just remove it and give some space here like this. Just you can drag it like this. So let it be so that I can have my checkboxes here. So here I need to add 8 checkboxes. So what we'll do, we'll go here to developer, insert, and I'll take this checkbox. Take this checkbox and just click here and take the checkbox here. Now here, remove this label and just take only the checkbox. I'll tell you why only checkbox is required. The reason is here I need to make these names also dynamic. What if tomorrow the brand name changes? So here I cannot go and refer that the checkbox name here dynamically. So for that I need to use a text box. So what I'll do, I can go here, say text box. Now I'll say equals and refer this cell. Calculation sheet, this one. And I'll keep it here. So likewise, I have to do it manually for all the brands, right? Let me keep it here. Let me make it 10, enter. make it bold. Fine. Now when I click on this, I should get only the Nokia line here. Otherwise, it should not come. So how to do this? So you would have understood the concept now what I'm trying to do. So like this, I have to create 8 different brands. Now when I select any of the brands, then I should get the line here. Otherwise, that should not show the line. So how to do that? So for that, what you have to do is you have to create some other calculation. So what I should do, let me just copy this table. Just copy this table. We'll paste it here. And then let me delete these calculations, this also. Now we'll go here. I'll say I have this checkbox. I right click, format control, and I have this cell link. I'll take that cell link here. Just to know whether it is selected or not. See, when I click on this, it says true. When I select this, it says false. That means if it is true, then I should get the values here. Otherwise, if it is false, I should not get the values here. So how to do that? So what I'll do is I'll say equals if this value equals true, then we'll go here. I'll select this value and say enter. Sorry, it is true. Then take this value, else NA. Let me show you again. I've taken one checkbox here. So based on this checkbox, I should get true or false here. I'll say equals if this value equals true, then take this value. Otherwise, NA, comma, NA. So what this NA will do is it will not plot the series here. Now since I have this 8 brands here, say I'll just go here, paste it here, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Now let me paste the formula here. Now just go here and just fix this, sorry, fix the column. Now let me go here. If I select this, see, I'll get this value. How it is coming? Because it is true. The formula was if this value is true, then take this value, otherwise make it NA. The reason why I've done that is so that I'll get this value here if it is selected. Now let's go and create the 8 brands here. So how to do that? You don't have to again put more efforts for this. See, I given a formula here that is referring this value. Now select these two, this checkbox and this text box, both. Hold Control Shift, same concept, make one more selection, one more brand. Then again Control and drag, again Control and drag. So I got 4 brands here. Now let me select this. We'll go here, go to this find and select. Here I have this select objects. You can drag a window like this so that all the 4 brands will be selected. And again you can say Control Shift down arrow, see, so that 8 brands are created immediately. So I've got this 8 checkboxes, so don't worry, we'll now change these values to these values. Say escape, see these values. How to do that? Let's go here. See, first let's give the reference for all these checkboxes. Select this, it says O11, that is when I right click and say format control and I selected here, so this is O11. Now you don't have to again go and check the cell link, select here, see it says O11, make it O12. Manually you can do it here. See, select this, I'll make it O13. So all these are designing things. Okay, so you have to do this in the beginning. So it should be done manually, but only once, not always. See here, I'll go here, say 13 and I'll say 14, then select this, I'll say 15, then say 16, select this and make it 17 and say 18. Quickly we can do the same. Now if you go here and check this, see, all are true, because the reference what we are given in the checkbox is like say from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now you can see if it is true, all the values are appearing there. Fine, let it be. Now let's go and change the label here. It says D11. Now let's make it as D12. Same concept. Then select this D13 and say D14. Yeah, this will be 15 and say 16 and then 17. Let's select this and say 8. If you want, I can use this Control Shift C. The previous session I told you, select all this. Say paste formats, Control Shift V. See, done. If you can see this, see, all the brand names have come. Now when I click on this, see Samsung, I'll just remove this. If you go and check here, those will be false. And only those which are true, the values will come. Now what we'll do is, this chart, whatever is there, it is referring this data. So instead, right click and say select data. Now what we'll do, we'll go here and select this reference now. Because this is where I'm getting this data. Now I'll say okay. Now what will happen, just check. See, I'll remove this Nokia, LG, Sony Ericsson. See, I have only Motorola and HTC. Let me select this Nokia and remove this HTC. So now what will happen actually is, I've given a formula here saying that wherever it is true or false, so based on that I'll get this value. So for that what will happen is this will become dynamic. See, HTC, Sony Ericsson, like this. Now why I gave this link is this one, the labels. What if this will change? Say for example, I'll go here, I'll just sort it. Okay, sort by, just trying to sort this by brand. Say okay. See, now this got sorted. Now here also it should get sorted. Now when you go and check this, see, this also should get replaced. Otherwise, if you would have hard coded it, what will happen? Here the data is getting changed, but still it would have been a Nokia. But since I've changed the reference here, this sorted here, the reference also will get changed. You see, like this. So likewise, in Excel also you can create something similar to your business intelligence tools. This is one basic report what I have shown today. So what I'll do is I'll stop for the day. I'll stop here because for doing itself this much, it will take a lot of time for you guys.